It's Patrick Hutzel from Intensive Care at Home, where we provide tailor-made solutions for long-term ventilated adults and children with tracheostomies by improving their quality of life, and where we also provide tailor-made solutions to hospitals and intensive care units to save money and resources whilst providing quality care. In last week's blog, I shared how to stand up to a government health department and win. You can check out last week's episode by clicking on the link below this video. In this week's blog, I want to share why Stephen Hawking lived a good life until 76 on a ventilator with tracheostomy. Last month, Stephen Hawking, the world-famous scientist, passed away at the age of 76. Most people would have known that Stephen Hawking had MND, or Motor Neuron Disease, which he was first diagnosed with at the young age of 21 when he was still at university. The diagnosis gradually paralyzed him over decades until in 1984 he developed a pneumonia. Stephen Hawking ended up in intensive care, and rather than prematurely ending his valuable and precious life, he ended up with a tracheostomy and became ventilator dependent for the majority of his remaining life. This required a different approach in his around-the-clock care he required going forward in order to leave intensive care and improve his quality of life. Stephen Hawking required 24/7 intensive home care nursing, and that's what kept him alive for decades. Stephen Hawking was an inspiration for many, and he had many gifts to give to the world. Thankfully, he was able to continue giving his gifts to the world because he was kept alive by mechanical ventilation and intensive care nurses. He was looked after 24/7, 365 days a year. This is how anybody on a ventilator and tracheostomy needs to be looked after to stay alive and leave intensive care and stay out of hospital with registered intensive care nurses at home. Stephen Hawking therefore was able to complete his life's work and his life's mission despite his perceived limitations. And this is all we do at Intensive Care at Home. We give our clients and their families a chance to live a full life at home despite their perceived limitations. We get our clients out of intensive care faster, reduce the cost of an ICU bed by 50%, and free up a highly sought after and in-demand ICU or pediatric ICU bed, and provide quality of life for our clients and their families. And we do it according to best international practice, the mechanical home ventilation guidelines. And best practice clearly evidences that the only way ventilated patients should leave intensive care and go home is with ICU nursing care. You can actually read up the mechanical home ventilation guidelines on our website. And this is how we provide services at intensive care, and it is best international practice. This is what we provide, and we send ICU nursing skills into our clients' home to keep them safe and out of ICU. We constantly create win-win situations by doing so and let people live their lives on their own terms in a holistic, patient and family-friendly environment in spite of their perceived limitations. More and more patients in intensive care, adults and children, block beds because of their ventilator dependency. Ventilator dependency can come in many shapes and sizes. It can be invasive ventilator dependency with a tracheostomy, or non-invasive, or also known as NIV ventilator dependency, such as BiPAP or CPAP. Both forms of ventilation need specialized intensive care nursing skills and can't be managed by families, or even worse, by lay people, as it puts patients at risk to have complications. Given that ventilated patients in hospitals have specialized intensive care nurses look after them, it requires the same level of expertise in a home care environment. We do have the accreditation as well as the specialization for it. More importantly, our services are tailor-made for our clients and for intensive care units to discharge long-term ICU patients home and free up their highly sought after and $5,000 per bed day ICU beds in the following situation. So we provide home care for mechanically ventilated adults and children with a tracheostomy as a genuine alternative to intensive care. We also provide quality of end of life when it comes to palliative care situations for mechanically ventilated adults and children with tracheostomy. And we also provide the same services for NIV or mask ventilation, BiPAP or CPAP, or high flow oxygen therapy, again for adults and for children. We also provide tracheostomy care in the community, and we also provide TPN, total parenteral nutrition administration, as well as PICC line and central line management in the community. We are a third-party accredited service provider to deliver those services, and you can find out more about how we maintain quality and safety standards again on our website. Thanks for watching this, and if you want to find out how we can help your family member or your ICU to help your patients or your loved one get out of intensive care or out of long-term acute care as well, or out of a nursing home, or if you find that you have insufficient support for your loved one at home on a ventilator, or if you want to know how to get funding for our service, just please contact us on one of the numbers on the top of the website, or send me an email to patrick@intensivecareathome.com. That's Patrick, just with a K at the end. Also, check out our career section. We currently hire intensive care and pediatric intensive care nurses for clients in Melbourne and in South Gippsland, Warragul area in Victoria. We are NDIS, TAC and DVA approved community service provider in Australia. We also have been part of the Royal Melbourne Health Accelerator program for innovative healthcare companies mid last year. Thank you for watching this blog. This is Patrick Hutzel from Intensive Care at Home, and I'll see you again next week in another update.